What is the acute angles measure going to be? 65 1/3. I know that my students are learning the lesson objective for the day is because I focus my questioning techniques around the objective, and I make sure that my activities that are planned for that day are focused on the lesson objective that I want my students to learn. My students are engaged in the activity from the time that they come into the classroom until the time they leave, and all my students are engaged because of the activities that I plan for the class. I use different activities, multiple representations to make sure that they're all on task, and there's never a dull moment in my room. We could be using the dry erase boards 1 minute, and then we move to the graphing calculators the next minute to do a poll, and they can immediately get feedback. Then we might move into looking at questions from last night's homework, and then we might move right back into the dry erase boards, so there's never a dull moment in my classroom. My students are always on task. I know that they are learning what they need to know because of the activities that I provide them in the classroom. One of the ways that I know that they know what they need to know is they do think, pair, share, where they're working with other students, they're communicating with other students, they're communicating back to me in the classroom when we do our classroom activities. They are also having a discussion with me, having a discussion with other students, and through listening to that discussion, I know that they know what they need to know. Yesterday I had a student that looked at a particular problem, and she made the relationship to something that we had learned 2 days prior to. And that's exactly what I want my students to do, is to connect to prior learning and then possibly connect to future learning. It's going to be perpendicular, it's got to look like an L. I want my parents to know that I expect great things from my students. We are always on task, we are always moving, we're always doing something in the classroom, and it is important for the students to be in the classroom on a daily basis because if they're not in the classroom, they will miss a key point that's going to lead them into what we're learning the next day. Parents can help their students at home by finding a good place for them to study, giving them time to study, having a conversation with the students on a daily basis about what they're learning in the classroom. Because if the students can communicate to them what they are learning, then that means that they are truly learning. If a student says, well, I don't know what I learned, then I would question, are they really paying attention in class and doing and using the materials that we're doing in the classroom?